Welcome back to episode 2 of Close In with Chloclark. I'm here with freelance photographer and UCLA student, Sydney Cattouse. How are we feeling?
What's good? It's always good. I'm feeling good. It's a beautiful Saturday. Yeah, we just out here.
I mean, I should have introduced you as Young Cat because that's like most of your socials, right?
Yes, I think that's all my socials.
What's the story behind, or like, how did you come up with that little alias name?
It just stuck with me. So like, I remember probably around like 8th grade, everyone was changing their names to like Young this and Young that. And I had like my gamer tag from Xbox at the time, which was like, there's something long. And I was like, I don't need that anymore. So I just put Young, and then my last name is Cattouse with 2 T's. So I just put Cat, C-A-T-T. And then I just stuck with that throughout high school. It didn't really stick until probably like the back end of high school, and I started doing a lot more and being involved, and everyone's like, who is that dude? And then I get identified as, oh, Young Cat, quote unquote. So I'm like, I guess it's cool, I guess, but you know what I'm saying? I didn't expect for it to be like a little thing people be calling me sometimes. So
Also, I noticed on your, like, underneath your bio on both your Instagram and your website, you describe yourself as young, Black, and braggadocious. So obviously, young, Black, that's prominent ways to describe yourself is pretty clear, but why include braggadocious?
I would say braggadocious, just like, I'm probably who I am. I'm never gonna like shy away from just like any parts of my identity, and I like hope that by doing that, other people are just inspired to be braggadocious themselves. It's not a bad thing to be like confident in yourself.
Right.
I want to say like cocky, but like, have some confidence in yourself.
Right. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people don't really know how to differentiate being cocky and being confident. So, I mean, it's really good that you are kind of taking another stance on the whole, like, being braggadocious. You have been a photographer since you were 15. Do you carry that? Have you always carried that same mindset with you?
It's definitely like changing, especially since like from when I was 15, I was just shooting just to shoot. But like as the years going on, I've definitely developed like different likes and dislikes for what I do, or like ways of like showcasing my art. And it just really kind of changes with the time, but it also changes with myself as well. Like as I learn more things, or as like I go through more life experiences, and like that kind of impacts how I'm like producing or like showcasing art.
So then with that, have you always been consistent with photography and this type of art, or have you kind of wavered in the process? Because I know, like 15, it's been, you're how old now? Like 20?
20, yeah, damn.
So 5 years?
It's been a minute.
It's been a
Yeah,
minute.
I would really say it's like four-ish, like 4 in the game. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Back into like 15, I was really like 16. But damn, that's crazy. Now that you're saying this, I'm like, whoa. But no, it's definitely wavered. In the beginning, I was like I had the need to like get better, and then once I got good at photography, like quote unquote, like people start out, and that's great that you start out, and people know that you have more ways to go. And once I got to a level where I was like confident in my abilities to like, I guess like start charging people for photos, or like just start producing art myself, I started to waver in the sense of like, okay, where do I want to go with this? Or it's like, how confident was I in my abilities to produce art, or like charge people for like taking their photos or capturing their moments? And that's when I kind of waver. I would also say now, during this pandemic, I've definitely been in like a creative like kind of slump, and it's kind of like worrisome to me. I had plans for the whole year in terms of like people still being active, and just besides of like shooting people who would need events, like there would be event photography that I would have done this year, but that's not happening. But like I would say, like now more so than ever, like it's really been hard trying to figure out my next steps in terms of like creating art for myself. but I'm drawing inspiration of like what's going on around me. I'm not trying to really get too much into the Corona like art inspiration. Like I really feel like that's cool and whatnot, but I kind of want to do something personal to myself and like go from there. But it's still a battle sometimes, especially now more so ever with a bunch of uncertainty.
Especially now. As an artist though, I feel like that's the cool part about it. You can create and pull from whatever's around you. And I think personally, photographers have to have that vision and that eye. So do you think that photography can be taught and can be learned in the sense that like, can an eye be learned, if that makes sense?
Oh, 100%, 100%. I mean, everyone has different learning styles. Like I personally learned it all off of YouTube, like help from like random people here and there. But like it definitely can be. I think that as long as somebody is like willing to go out there and like put the time in, time is very important. Like just putting that time in and going back into it, like that's a way that you can grow from that.
I like how you mentioned that you learned from YouTube, which
Right, YouTube.
YouTube it never fails. Like it's crazy how much you can learn off online, just Google. But as other than YouTube, what other ways did you educate yourself on photography?
So when I first started, I was in the digital photography class. I didn't really like the class. I didn't really like the teacher's teaching style. Don't get me wrong, he was a cool teacher, but I just didn't really like the pace we were going at. And once I kind of got hooked into photography, I shot some football games for extra credit. I wasn't really into photography, but the homies was playing. I shot them. I sent the pictures out. Everyone was like, "Yo, this is fire." And I kept coming out there, and I got hooked. But it was really just YouTube, and then kind of like the teacher I was talking about. Like I would just kind of press him for like certain information. I would learn something from YouTube, and I wouldn't know how to do it physically. So I'd be like, "Yo, what is this?" I would say the term from YouTube, and he'd be like, "How you know that?" And I'd be like, "Oh, I just looked it up." Da, 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 da. And then go from there. And I would learn it like physically in person, so I know how to like translate that in real life. But there's some books out there, articles, and then literally just putting time in, like messing up, going out there shooting, taking bad photos, and come back, look at it, and be like, okay, I did this wrong. I should probably do this different, and then going back and putting that work in every single time. So that's definitely how I learn.
You know, advocating for yourself, putting yourself out there, using your resources and tools. But also, I find it interesting how, you know, we're talking about like art. So it's interesting to me how you label yourself as artist on Instagram and not photographer. So kind of what's your reasoning behind that?
Because I don't know, like I would like to say I produce art just because I don't really feel like photographer is like something I want to be known as. Like I obviously take photos and I obviously am a photographer, but I would also like to be known for producing works that inspire others or like document things that people don't know about and uplift the stories of other people who can't be heard. So I wouldn't want to say just like photographer because that is like the connotation is like, you know, you just take photos, but I would like to say that I'm more than just somebody who takes photos.
As you mentioned, it's not just taking a photo, it's having that sort of eye, like I mentioned, and creating that aesthetic to your work. So with any good photographer, in my opinion, you have to have that aesthetic. So how do you differentiate yourself and form your own aesthetic to your work?
So that's really hard. And I'm not even gonna lie, I've been kind of searching for that. But at the same time, I feel like what I've done so far is kind of like, I range in all different types of stuff. And I think that's kind of like part of what I do. Like every time I start a new project or I document something different, like I'm using a style that kind of fits with it. So I never like stick to a certain style and then shoot everything like that, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. And it's kind of a way that people can like, you know, recognize your work. That goes with like watermarks. So like people know like, oh, that person took that photo or like, I'm trying to think like there's like people that shoot like hoopers and we could tell like that's a certain photographer that took that and we just know off the edits or like the watermark and that's cool. But I feel like me personally, I kind of didn't want to get stuck in that like route of like making sure my photos all look the same. So like changing that every time I go out and shoot or like shoot something different and like making sure that goes with what I shoot is like more important to me than like making the overall aesthetic. And I guess that could be my aesthetic, quote unquote.
Yeah,
So
that's true. I mean, along with that aesthetic type, that of course was a whole trend on Instagram. I feel like having your feed and whatever. So, do you feel pressured as a photographer to post certain things, or do you have like, like, do you need that validation from the likes and to feel I don't know, like accepted and to feel like your artwork is good enough?
in the beginning, I definitely did, especially as somebody who's like looking to grow and be like a good quote unquote photographer. Like Instagram, Twitter, like just social media in general, and getting like those likes for validation is something that definitely plays a role into like a person's mindset, especially when they go out and create art. Um, Luckily for me though, I met a guy like last year, freshman year. His name is Graham Smith. Bro is an amazing photographer. He doesn't have an Instagram, and I didn't really know he was a photographer. I met with him. He's like, yeah, bro, I'm a photographer. Met up with him, and then all of a sudden he was like, yeah, these are all my photos. I'm like, damn, like, what's your Instagram? He's like, oh, like, I'll just be posting whatever on there. He didn't have Instagram, but he just takes iPhone photos of random stuff. I was like, damn, like this dude has dope photography. Like I'm talking like activism photography, like nighttime shoots, just beautiful work. And he's just like, yeah, man, I don't really care too much about that. And, hanging out with him throughout the year and just talking to him, like I kind of got that like sense of why he doesn't do that. And he like didn't want to get trapped in that whole validation thing. Mm-hmm. And afterwards, like hanging out with him and just like learning from that, I kind of stopped like needing that validation, quote unquote. And now it's definitely helped my art because I would go out there and be like, damn, people fuck with this. I don't know if they fuck with this. I don't know if I should post this. Because I shoot a lot more than what I have on my Instagram. And I like put some on my website, but people still don't know the amount that I be shooting. So I definitely think that it's played a role with my like development in the beginning. And I think it plays a role with most artists. But hopefully I think that most artists can kind of delineate which things they do for social media and then which things they do for themselves. Because I think it's more important to like create art for yourself as well as like create art that, you don't really care that if it's like shot down by social media or any of that. So.
Right. Yeah. And speaking about, like shooting stuff that you resonate to, that you love, I definitely see it through the quality of your work because I just think that the stuff that you shoot reflects your own identity and your personal brand. So do you feel like your photography should be a part of your identity?
It definitely is. And like for my social media as well, like I kind of mix it in with like myself and like some photography. Like I tried, like going back to the social media thing, I tried to make like a photography account. And then I was like, this is like doing a lot. People aren't really following my photography account. So like part of my identity now, like everyone does know me as like a photographer. So like I'm perfectly okay. And I love that I mix it in with my identity and I'm proud of it. So.
And then looking at your portfolio, like I may be wrong, but it seems like you started off shooting like sports at your high school, John Muir, and then moved on to like more portraits and events as of lately. I don't know, shift, but how would you describe that journey and like what do you choose to focus on as far as what your subject is?
Like you said, I did start with sports in the beginning, and that got me on the ground like shooting. And just that was like me putting in time, I would say. So I went from football to the basketball season, and then toward the basketball season, I also ran track, so I shot track, and then I also shot baseball. But toward the end of spring, I was invited by one of my friends. This is like when I first started photography. I was invited by one of my friends to, he had a shoot, and it was surrounding like Black surrealism. And I pulled up, I was a model, but I also brought my camera, and we were all there. It was a bunch of Black and brown bodies. We was in white shirts. It was kind of like a Solange video. It was low-key dope, but it was golden hour. I started taking portraits of people and kind of like what we were doing at that set and like what I came out with that set with was something I kind of fell in love with. So afterwards, I really start falling in love and making like photography my passion of just like capturing people and like capturing moments like that. Football, I'm always have love for that. I know how to shoot that greatly. Like I still shoot here at UCLA as one of the media team photographers, and I shoot like football games. But like I always love taking photos of like people and like personal moments and like more closer, intimate things. So that's definitely the journey I went on throughout that, and that's where I fell in love with photography.
And you mentioned high school football. I know you're from Pasadena, and I feel like I feel like Pasadena itself is a city with a lot of art and culture, scene. So, did that have any impact on your interest in photography?
I would definitely say the impact from Pasadena would be like the community. Like we're a tight knit community over there, and like we ride for our city. But definitely just like being around other people and just being around love in general is just something that like motivate my art. So like even if I was taking photos, hey look, I know my photography was like kind of bad in the beginning. People was like, yo, that's dope. Keep going, do that shit. And like now I take photos and people from the city is like, yo, that's fire times 10. Like and it's just really that love that motivated me. So I mean, there's artists that come out of Pasadena. There's hoopers. There's football players that come out of Pasadena. But like we all uplift each other, and that's something that I love. So that's definitely something that pushed me.
Right. Yeah. The support system is definitely like my dad's from Pasadena. He went to John Muir too. So I definitely I definitely know what that's all about. But because you are from Pasadena, I know you kind of you guys have your own slang. And last guest, I let her explain some Bay Area slang. So if you want to kind of explain a little Pasadena slang, go ahead.
Okay, we can. First one that comes to my mind is like yard, and yard is something that's probably descriptive of a bad situation. So like, and also I'm gonna just note that any Pasadena lingo is also like affected by the way that you say it. So like that's yard, like that is very definitive, like bad situation over there. It's like, okay, that's yard. It's like, all right, whatever, that's cool. I also say boo. Boo is good, but also that's descriptive in the term with like what you say. So like I see a girl, I'll be like, I look at the homies, I'll be like, yo, she's boo. And then they'll be like, no, she's boo. Like, like, I also think, I would also say rail. Rail is something that's very Pasadena, short for like relative. And that's something you like catch up with your bros with. That's definitely the three off the top.
Is the main one.
Come to Pasadena, come hear some word, or come to Pasadena, you know what I'm saying?
Gotta rap always.
Gotta do.
Let's move on to another segment. It's called Facts or Cap. But for this one, I'll name some, or I'll say some quotes from some photographers, and just let me know if you agree with it. You can say facts and kind of agree, explain. And if you think it's some bullshit, you can say cap. The one, it is more important to click with people than to click the shutter.
That's facts. I'll definitely say like, yeah, that's facts as fuck actually. Especially being at UCLA. I would say like taking photos of people would be cool, but if I wasn't interacting with those people, then it wouldn't really mean much. Like, you know what I'm saying? I've built so much relationships through photography, and that's also kind of why like people know who I am and I know who other people are. So like building that relationship with people is definitely bigger than like clicking the shutter.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's facts. It's fuck actually.
Yeah. I mean, you got like a really nice, laid back, outgoing personality. So I feel like that does play a role in, how you interact with the people that you're shooting. And like you said, networking goes a long way for sure.
Definitely want to make sure people are comfortable, especially like in front of a camera. Like I've been in front of a camera and I still to this day, I'm like, what do I do? And it's like weird because I'm on the other side of the camera. So like making sure that people are comfortable in front of my lens and like making sure that they know that I'm not going to do anything to make them look bad. Like isn't very important. So
Right. For two, we got, I never have taken a picture I've intended. They're always better or worse.
I've never taken a picture unintended.
Intended.
Intended.
Mm-hmm.
I take intended pictures. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't really get that call. I feel like there's times where you take pictures that you intend to take, and then there's times where it's like, okay, I didn't really intend to take this, but this came out very beautifully, you know.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense. And the last one, great photography is about depth of feeling, not depth of field.
Oh my gosh, that's so photography-ish. Yeah. What they mean by that is like, I don't know if y'all know the portrait mode, like the portrait mode on your iPhone, it kind of makes things pop, and that's like the depth of field. That's a shallow depth of field. But depth of feeling, I would definitely say facts. Yeah. You want to make people like in the long run, you want to make people like look at a photo and be like, damn, like feel some shit. And then be like, okay, like what else did they do? Or like look at a photo and be like, oh, there's a whole story here. Or like what else is going on here? You know, so that's definitely facts.
So let's move on to a couple more questions. As a photographer, you take pictures of everything. How do you live in the moment?
So that's tough. Sometimes I'll be shooting and I'll be shooting like, okay, what else is like about to happen and like shoot. But at the same time, like there are times when I'm not shooting, I'm in the moment and like I'm like, yo, this is beautiful, and I kind of like sneak my camera out and shoot it. So like I kind of like go back and forth, and I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think me personally though, I do have a personal problem with not living in the moment because I'd be kind of busy. So I'd be like thinking, what's the next thing I'm about to do? And it's great when I can get grounded and like be somewhere like in a moment. So
Do you feel like you have a preference of what you photograph? Like, is it sports, events, people?
I would say like people, personal moments, like intimate moments, portraiture, and then I would say like, I do want to make more projects this year, especially. I have more plans to make more projects this year, and I'm keep telling myself that. So definitely just like people and like their identities and like storytelling, I would say.
You got a lot of different ideas and concepts plotting. How do you come up with certain concepts for your shoots?
Sometimes I don't even be the one. I have like people who like help creative direct, but also like for me personally, it's literally just something that I just like, I'm like, okay, I guess it was like stem from problems. So like right now, let's talk about like what's going on right now. I have a personal like hate against, I want to say like police, but definitely like all the brutality that's going on.
Yeah.
And I want to express that. So like, how would I go about expressing that? I mean, I want to go to the protest today. Going out and documenting that and seeing like what's going on out there is something where I can express that, or like making an art project that surrounds brutality and like the systemic things that keep happening to like hurt people in this country. Like those would be ways I would express that. Or like I could wake up and be like, somebody feels like their story isn't heard, and how would I go document this story and like make them feel heard, or like make sure they are heard. So like that's definitely how I would go about that.
Yeah. I feel like photography definitely holds a lot of strength in situations like this. I know that you are involved, or you've done some work with photojournalism, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you see that playing a role in your career?
In the future, like I personally intend to get in politics in the future, but like photojournalism is something that kind of can help me blend both of those worlds together. Like if I want like policy action done, like I can document what's going on and then write something short about it, or write things that complement the photos and like provide that with policy suggestions. Like those are things that can like I can incorporate to like blend my two personal future goals together. And like photojournalism is definitely something that I was new to, especially coming to UCLA. I did it when there's strikes going on. I literally just like For those who don't know, there are some strikes going on with UCLA workers against the UC Regents. They weren't getting paid enough, and their benefits were kind of getting revoked. Not revoked, but they weren't getting benefits.
Mm-hmm.
So they were walking around campus protesting, and I felt like the student body was like, okay, we just have strikes. The dining halls are closed. We're going to be late to class. And I kind of felt like people weren't really paying attention to like who these people are. And people were kind of just like knowing them as like green shirt, like people in bodies that were just wearing green shirts. So I just went out there, got super close, took photos of everybody and started like interviewing them. I was like, yo, so why are you out here? Like, what are you guys fighting for? And like documenting that, taking voice clips, taking quotes, and then like compiling all that and then posting that to like show my peers who these people are actually in these green shirts, like what they're actually fighting for is something that like made some change for me. You know what I'm saying? I was proud of that. But like going on with that, I think that's something that I was really proud of there and there, and I should probably keep doing more and more. And that's kind of what the plan I did have to go out there, like when I was going out there to protest. So.
Yeah, definitely. I think you should definitely, if there's like any more protests happening, go out there, document. Because, you know, as I say, a picture's worth 1,000 words. I feel like meshing those two up, having the power of words plus photography and those images definitely can do a lot. And as you mentioned, meshing the two, like your two interests or passions with political science and photography, I think that's great that you're finding a way to mesh the two, because I feel like, you know, as children, we grow up, we have our passions, whether it be photography, whatever, dance, and then we kind of lose that, like growing up, going to college and stuff. So how did you stay true to yourself and your passion?
I really got blessed. Like, I think photography is something that you can really like carry on to, especially like when you get into college setting like this. I mean, for most people's hobbies, like let's say you love like volleyball, but you don't really do that like in a collegiate setting, then it's kind of hard for you to do that unless you go into the gym and you have a whole group of friends that you play volleyball with or something like that. Me, I got blessed. I got a job like right when I touched down on campus. They were opening for the media team. And once I got that job, I had access to anything that I wanted to shoot here at UCLA, basically. And that kind of just like allowed me to continue fueling like my passion. So going from there, even though we don't have school right now, like I'm still able to shoot anything I want. So that's definitely something that kept it going in that transition.
People that may not know, you are photo lead at UCLA's Resident Life.
Yeah,
right?
I'm one of the photo leads. Yeah, one of the photo leads at UCLA Residential Life Media Team. So we document student life at UCLA. So anything students do, we're there with them. Yeah.
I know you've had a lot of opportunities to shoot different events at UCLA. Big music artists like DaBaby, Summer Walker, Hot Girl herself, Meg Thee Stallion. What was that like for you?
All right, let me tell you about like Meg Thee Stallion, man. First of all, like they said she was coming, I was like, wow. First of all, she's beautiful. I had a crush on her straight off the bat. And she's really tall. Like I'm 5'6", y'all. Like she's tall. Like I seen her, I looked up, I was like, wow. Like first of all, you're beautiful. I didn't say this to her. In my head, I'm saying this. I'm like, wow, you're beautiful. And then I was just like, hi, how you doing? My name is Sydney. Like I'm gonna be taking photos of you. And she's just so nice. She's like, hey, like Texas accent, like, how you doing? Da-da-da-da. It's nice to meet you. She's like, okay, we're gonna go out there, turn up. I said, I'll bet, man. She went out there, did her thing. I was shooting photos. I was just really like in love the whole time. I was just like, wow, like she's really out here doing this. That was definitely an experience. I love that. Even though I just said like, what's up to her, like it was really just like that made my day personally. I was like,
yeah, most people don't have the chance to talk to
I was like, well, I was like, this is crazy. And that's definitely a moment I knew. I was like, oh, I'm at UCLA. I'm able to shoot shit like this. Like, this is dope. Born Bash was also fun as well. DaBaby, like, when I tell you, okay, so we had Masego right before that, and the vibes was chill. Masego's a dope performer. Like, he made the beats on stage, like, great performer. DaBaby came out there. When I tell you the whole, like, Pauley Pavilion just flipped. Like it was just like everyone started rushing toward the stage. It was just like chaos. And I'm in the crowd like shooting, like, oh, like getting bumped from everywhere. And I'm still surprised to this day how I got shots like that, even though I was like deep in the crowd. I wasn't deep in the crowd, but I was like front row. But still, like this time I didn't have access to the press pit. It was like a super big boom match, and like everyone, like press passes were like super limited. But I was like front row blessed and getting bumped, jostled, all that. I low-key dropped like a lens cap, I think. I have to get it after the show. Like people with it was like bodies all around me. I was just like, all right, whatever. But yeah, it was dope. It was a dope experience. Yeah. There's a lot going on.
And I also peeped you had pictures of NFL player Juju Smith. He reposted them along with another media outlet, I think Finish Line. You were given credit for that. So one, like, again, how was that experience like? Because it looked like the pictures looked like it was lit, a good time.
Oh, shit. Okay, yeah. Our school had got sponsored by Adidas, and we went to the 747 like warehouse event that they had. Juju just walking around. We in the crowd. I'm like, yo, that look like Juju. I'm like, no, I'm tripping. He had like these glasses on. I was just like, nah, I'm tripping. And I'm in the crowd. All of a sudden, I see him turn them up. I'm like, all right, let me take photos. His, I think it's probably like manager, like somebody he was with. He's like, yo, like, can I get those? I said, yeah, got you. Went home, edited, shot it off. Next day, like, Finish Line post. I'm like, whoa.
Big time.
So that was pretty dope. That was pretty dope. You know, that should just be happening sometimes. And I love it. You know, it's more exposure for me.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, I'm like, okay, like don't get caught up in it. Like,
right.
keep creating your own art. So that's dope.
Yeah, I feel like most of the time with media, a lot of people don't really get that credit. So it's really dope that you got credit. How do you feel about, you know, some photographers, some graphic designers not getting as much credit to their artwork as much as it's posted?
That's definitely like something that I really dislike. Like everyone needs credit, especially like, you know, we're all artists, and like, you know, some people may be well off than others, but at the same time, we still have money to make. We still have like people to like inspire, and like the more following we have, even though like I was saying all that stuff about social media and stuff like that, that's exposure for us. And like people can come see what our work is and be inspired by that, or they can come see what our work is and, you know, want that for them and like book a shoot or something like that. So I definitely think that it's really important. Like, I don't care how big you are, like you need to credit whoever image you took from, like make sure you have their permission or at least credit them. Like that's definitely something that's very important.
Yeah, I agree. It can definitely get lost with this big media world that we live in. But as I said, Juju and all those other artists, DaBaby, Summer Walker, they're very prominent in the industry. So at what moment were you like, price just went up? Like, was it at that moment? Was it an earlier moment?
I'm not trying to really do that, but I was like, look, I'm not the photographer that was like, you know, just doing like $40 shoots anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm kind of I'm not like, you know, this is the braggadocious part, but like my skill level is like grown a lot more since then, and like I've been able to do this since then. So like, if you want what I've grown into and like the new skills that I've learned, and like, you know, you have to come with that. But I'll definitely say like, I don't know, probably got more confident in my skills probably like spring quarter of like when I got to UCLA. So spring quarter of my freshman year, that's when I was like, okay, I really do this photography shit. Like I could keep doing this.
So pretty recently though, like last year then?
Pretty much last year.
Yeah.
It was definitely a struggle. Like I kept going back and forth in my head. Like I said, like the whole validation thing as well. Excuse me. The whole validation thing as well. I'll always be in a constant battle. Like, do I keep doing this or like, I don't know. it's always like a constant battle. But now I'm just I never really think of like that anymore. It's just like, what else am I about to create? So
that's good. Always think ahead. And yeah, to go along. Well, actually, what are your rates? Do you have like a flat rate or?
I don't really have a flat rate. I kind of charge like people ask me for projects, and then like I'm doing grad shoots right now. Like to me, I'll be kind of like I'm friends with everybody, which is also kind of weird for me. So like you be like, oh, how much? I'll be like, y'all got that homie price or like something like that. Like it's really hard pricing my work, and you know, I try and keep it where people can like I'm still accessible to like people that I'm around, but also like I always keep it professional when I'm like working for like a company or something like that. I lucky up the price for a company because I know they got the money for that. So
yeah, got to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like people can't be mad at, you know, high price if it takes into account the quality, the time that goes into it, you know, just the whole vision, the editing. As far as editing, how long does it take for you for, you know, a typical shoot? Like what's the post shoot process like?
I would say like my freshman year, I was like my turnaround time for photos was like less than 2 days. I wasn't really doing too much, so I would like take photos, go back, start editing, going through every single photo, edit, and then probably have it done maybe like within 24 hours or like 48 hours. Now I'm a lot more busy, so like my turnaround time is probably like around a week or a week and a half. I'll still say that's kind of quick for like other photographers that kind of get their turnaround time like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But like that post shoot is like coming back here, I'm going to sleep. Like, you know what I'm saying? Sleep. And then from there, I might be working on other shoots that I've done and then get to that shoot accordingly. But like try and complete it within like a week and a half. Or like if I'm working with an artist or like my collective command, like we're always going back and forth with edits. So it's like I'm editing something, I'm like, okay, how we feel about this? Okay, no, all right, we come back to the drawing board, redo something, and then all that. Like it's always a different process for most shoots, but I would say like my turnaround time would be like a week and a half right now. And then I'm editing freely throughout the day. So like sometimes I wake up, start editing, eat breakfast while I'm editing, and like it's just pretty random throughout the day. I set aside time usually just to do it.
Yeah, that's good. It's definitely a lot, especially since you're involved in a lot of things. You're a student, different organizations. But let's take a look at some of your pictures in this segment I'm gonna call What's Really Good. So I'll show some pictures. Just talk us through like what was going on in that moment and what vibes you were trying to truly capture. Because I feel like vibes can be different for everyone, can be misconstrued. So the first one I got, I don't know if you can see this one.
Oh yeah. So that's what year is this? That's 2019. No wait, it was my freshman year. I'm old. That's 2019. Wait, it's 2020 right now. So that's 2018. That's 2018 Turkey Tussle. That's a big game for Pasadena. It's Pasadena High School versus John Muir High School, and we played in the Rose Bowl. That was the first time in a long time where they had it during the daytime because I think UCLA had a game later that week, and they didn't want us like using the Rose Bowl at night. The little homies was like, "Hey, bro, please come back, take photos of the Turkey Tussle." I was like, "Bro, I got you." Like, you feel me? I got all this UCLA equipment. I'm pulling up to Pasadena. I'm finna shoot all the homies. And right there and then, we was whooping PHS like feet. It was bad. So this is probably like toward the fourth quarter. Everybody's like celebratory. I think like we really running them at this point. So everyone's like, we're gonna win. That's that boy Caleb. He went crazy that game, and he was just dancing. Like they love to dance. The youngins love to dance. So they was on the sidelines just going crazy. I was pulled up taking photos. Yeah, that was a beautiful day. Sun was out. It was hot. But we just turning up because we know we won. So
yeah, you can definitely see the emotions like captured. And I love like the little boy in the back.
Oh yeah, youngins on the field, seeing what the young water boys, they always turning up too.
Right. All right, next one is that one.
Man, okay. Ava at grandma's house. That's my homegirl Ava. Shout out Ava. Uh, great model. She was like, I'm gonna do the shoot at my grandma's house. And her grandma's house is a very homely, like I don't know, if you could think of like just somebody's house who's like collective, like years of like knowledge around, like there's books around and like all types of trinkets and just like a homely house. Like it was just a house vibe, you know what I'm saying? It's one of the most beautiful houses I've been in, even though it's just like a cool house. I was in Ladera and we literally just went around the house and she had some like outfits and I was just like trying to capture kind of this aesthetic of the home as well as like capture Ava's aura, and Ava's aura is very like comfortable and like loving. So like doing that shoot, damn, that was actually the day of the USC versus UCLA game. I just come from the tailgate. I was low key lit. But I still booked the shoot that day because I wasn't really planning on going to the tailgate. But then I pulled up and I was just like, yo, like, you ready? I was like, yeah. And we shot from like 2 to like golden hours. Yeah, we shot it for a couple hours that day. Just going into each room and like just shooting stuff. We went to the kitchen, messed around with like the blinds and the lighting on her face.
Yeah.
And then the bathroom was perfect because she had that small mirror in there. And I wanted to catch up. I wanted to take a picture of Ava in the mirror, but I wanted to do it differently. So
Yeah.
that was played around with.
It's definitely a cool little perspective. Are you like pick up that mirror and let me shoot? Like
That's what it was. I was like, I seen like what I seen it. I can kind of like see what the image in my head would look like. So I was like, okay, if you pick up that mirror and like angle it towards your eye, then I can like kind of get an angle and like shoot like that. So that's definitely, I was just like, pick up that mirror, let me see you fast. Like that's how we go. So
yeah, that's dope. On to the next is that one.
damn, photo challenge. That's my boy Dakari. Shout out my homegirl Ifoma. She had a YouTube channel. Well, she has a YouTube channel, and she does this thing where she like competes with people who actually do like photography or like makeup or stuff like that. And she's like, all right, like 25-minute challenge. So we just went out to Westwood. That's a parking structure in Westwood. And we had Dakari and we had 10 minutes to shoot with him, I think. So I had 10 minutes, she had 10 minutes. And I was just like looking around Westwood. I'm like, damn. First, I don't really like Westwood, but I was looking around, I was like, there has to be something like good looking here. So I seen that parking structure and I was like, let me play around with like the different levels. And like the sky was just clear that day. So I just shot like straight up. I was like, look over. He had a couple other shots. I was like shooting through the railing. But yeah, it was a photo challenge and it was like 10 minutes. I was like, I gotta go crazy right now. Like it's challenge. I got challenged. Like I gotta go crazy. So
10 minutes, you said, for this?
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. So I shot like probably like 80 or like 100 pictures within 10 minutes. Like it was like we was at that spot, that one photo spot, like that photo that you just showed me. We was at that spot for like a minute and a half or 2 minutes. Like I was like, all right, we gotta go to a different spot. Like I was just trying to get as much places as possible and enough like poses, enough like range so we could pick from it and then I could like put my photo forward. So yeah.
That's crazy. I feel like if it was a girl, it would not be that quick to take because are they picky like about what pictures, how they turn out?
Yes and no. I'll say like Dakari was like the perfect model. He's a very confident person, very like he already knew his poses, he knew his angles and all that. So like I'd be like, all right, can you like stand right there? And he was in the like pose he wanted. Like immediately I was like, thank you, you're the perfect person. Because sometimes I shoot people and it's like there's nothing wrong with that. Like I shoot people and sometimes they're kind of like I don't really know how I look in front of the camera, and that's when I can kind of like if it's not a 10-minute challenge, then I'm working with you right there, and then I'll be like, okay, so this is how it's looking right now. I would suggest that you kind of go like this, move your hand right here, like smile a little bit more, relax your shoulders. Like I'm advising people as I shoot them, like that's pretty much how it goes. Some people aren't like confident in how they look, and that's okay. You know what I'm saying? And like I'm trying to make you look as good as possible. So just working with the client and while we doing it is how I usually go about it. So
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Two more. This one's the next one.
man, that's man. I was literally in their room, and Kylan is a braider. She braids hair, so I was just literally shooting the process of like braiding hair because I've never really paid attention to it. I was watching her the whole time, and there's like all these products, and like she does these things with a comb. She parts her hair. I was like, this is kind of dope, and I was just like shooting. They have like red lamps and like pink.
Yeah,
Like they have like there's a lot of colors in there, there's vibes, and then in the background there's like a whole exploding sunset. I was like, yo, this is kind of dope right now. So I just kind of like that was one of the times when I was just literally like sitting there, and I was like, all right, let me go to my room real fast and go from my room. So I came back in there with my camera, and I came away with that. I called that whole series like the process, I think, and that was like just the process of braiding Ava's hair. So it was pretty dope.
Yeah, I love how it's just something so simple, but it looks so beautiful, honestly.
Appreciate you.
And then the last one, of course, well, you kind of touched on it, but Meg.
Yeah, I was just in love that whole entire time. Just imagine like you can like cartoon characters when they have like the hard eyes on their like eyes, like that was me behind the lens. I was just like, wow, she's like turning the whole crowd up. Everyone's like screaming her lyrics. Like I'm like, yo, this is dope. The light was perfect, and she was just a great performer. So like, I wasn't trying to get in her way. I was just trying to like I didn't want to like be behind her, but I wanted to like capture her interacting with the crowd, and that's kind of where that photo came from.
Okay, cool. So those are the pictures. I love hearing how the process and your own perspective. Do you also take videos, or is it?
I've been dabbling in video work. I wouldn't say like I'm able to like sell like what I know about video and like like produce a video for somebody.
Yeah.
But I've like helped on video work before. Like my probate video that came out, like I worked on the effects of that. Command, we worked on some effects on that video. Not that video, but like for some of the things that we do in Command, and like that kind of gets passed around. So like I work on some effects, but I'm definitely like trying to learn more about it. I think I'm looking to like buy a new camera, and I think that'll kind of push me there just because like the camera I currently work with is mainly better for photography. But yeah, I'll definitely say like I'm dabbling into it, but I'm not at a space where I'm at a point where I'm like, I can make a video for somebody, you know what I'm saying? So.
I mean, I'm sure you could, and it turned out better than like me per se.
Oh, no, I mean, I definitely can make it. Like, I know how to make a good video, but like, I think that's also a point. Like, I also like battle with too. Like, I'm not confident enough to make that video. So, you know, making that step or making that leap to making more videos is definitely something I should get into.
Yeah. How many cameras do you have?
I'm looking back at my cameras over there. I got like a couple film. I got like 3 or 4 film cameras, and then I got like a camera from UCLA, and then I got a personal DSLR. Yeah, I'm also having one at home. I really use that one, but that's a little older. Yeah, so I was saying total like 3, 4, 5, like 6. Yeah. Don't rob me, nobody.
Difference, at least for you, between like a film and regular?
So yeah, it's like film, and then DSLR. DSLR is a digital single lens reflex. Reflex lens. I forgot. Damn, I don't even know. But basically, that's like the camera that most people shoot with. And then there are some cameras out there like Sony's. There's like digital cameras or mirrorless. My bad. That's one I'm probably looking to purchase. But like for me, film is something that I would shoot. Like Polaroids. Those are always cool, and like everyone can shoot a Polaroid. I kind of own a Polaroid just for like that kind of aesthetic purpose. I usually take a photo of somebody with a Polaroid, and then like take a photo of the Polaroid with the person, and like go from there. Or like my film camera at? I was on the table outside. That's like that I carry that for like personal moments. So like if I'm just like going out with the homies, I'm not trying to bring my big ass like it's not big, but like, you know, my big old like loud ka-chunk like camera. A film camera is more like chill, vibey, and also like kind of cute too. Like when I get the photos developed and like show what the memories look like, it's like it has this great, beautiful like film effect on it. What is film, but like it looks dope. You know what I'm saying? And I also don't have to edit it. I just gotta pay to get it developed. So
Yeah. What do you feel about iPhone photography then?
I love iPhone photography. I low-key need to get into it more. I'm cool at it. I just don't use it enough, and I kind of like prefer like taking a film camera out and shooting people. But if I don't have any camera on me, like the best camera is the one that you got. So
Yeah.
that's if I'm out there cameraless. If I went to like the protest today without a camera, I'm whipping my iPhone out. I'm still taking photos with my iPhone. I'm gonna do what I do with it. And like I've shot for UCLA, like the UCLA page, like the one that we run for the media team. I took a photo of Royce Hall, which is that big hall at UCLA that's kind of like memorable. I shot like the grass like leading up to it. I took it on iPhone and then it's like on the page. Got like a bunch of likes. Everyone loved it, so it was cool.
Yeah.
That's off of iPhone. So like, you know, shout out Apple. Y'all do your thing with your cameras, man. Stop releasing phones every year, bro, because like I can't keep up. But yeah, the best camera is the one that you got on you. So
that's true. All right, we'll wrap it up a bit here. So I know that you are involved in a lot, UCLA, and you've mentioned the Command Collective here and there throughout this. So kind of explain that a little bit more, what that is.
Okay, Command stands for Creative Masterminds. And we basically just strive to produce art as well as inspire others to create art. And that has happened in the form of like art shows we've had at UCLA. We do a lot. So it's like all of us kind of like do different facets. Like I'm a photographer. Brian is somebody who's in it. He's a graphic designer. Coleman, he's downstairs actually. Rapper, Seiji, rapper. Bammy, fashion designer. Toby, creative director and photographer. Like we all do different things. And we come together to just create art and like inspire others. Yeah, Command Week is coming up. Follow us, CMMND. And yeah, I'll say that's pretty much what we do. Produce clothes, make music, create art, inspire others, create art. Yeah.
Okay.
Photography. Yeah.
That's for sure. How do you?
Asset management as well. So if you're an artist and you're like really like, I'm good at rapping, but I'm not really good at like handling my social media or like promoting my work. We can handle all that. We can create digital assets for you, photography for you, run the whole get down of like promoting you and like rolling out a project. If you have a project you want to roll out, we can handle all that. So.
Okay. Sounds like a really good space to be in if you're honestly interested in anything in the arts. Speaking of like good spaces to be in, you're part of Faithful Black Men.
I am.
Right?
I am.
Tell me a little bit about, what it's like to be a part of that organization.
Just to keep Black men together. Like, so there are Black people at UCLA. We're about 6% this year, actually. 5 or 6%. But within that, like, the Black male population is kind of a lot smaller. So, like, our goal is really just to keep the retention of Black males together as well as, like, make sure that we all, like, tap in with each other. And that just goes from, like, social things to, like, academic things. So, like, we can hold us, but also, like, everybody hit each other up for like going, hoop. But like, I'm in support of all that. Like, so playing 2K together or just like socializing, like a social organization where we keep Black males like not integrated. I'm sorry. What's it called? Interacting, and then retention as well.
Yeah, I think that's great, especially because UCLA, like you said, it's not. I mean, as much as you guys joke around and say HBC, UCLA, like Uh, so I feel like it's good just to have that support system for Black males, especially, you know, in a time like now with all this injustice and negativity surrounding the Black community. It's just a good place to have support and love. So that's really cool, in my opinion. And then lastly, what do you want to do? What's the next step with your photography? What's the goals like for you? I know, you, like you said, you're poli-sci major, African American Studies minor, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I actually switched. I'm now public affairs, which is kind of similar to political science, but it's an emphasis on like policy and like what's going on now. I feel like political science was like kind of too historical for me, and like that's cool, but I'm really focused with like what policy action can we do now and like fix injustices that's actually going on. And I feel like that was a better fit for me. It's a new major at UCLA, and I love it. You know, I also picked up the education minor as well as African American Studies. So in the future, I'll definitely say like I have plans this year to like execute more projects as well as like have an art show toward the end of the year. I don't really know how feasible that is considering like what's going on. But within at least by the end of next year, I want to have like some type of art gallery, not at UCLA, but like, you know, get a place and then like have my work up or like collaborate with other artists and like put their work up as well. And then incorporating that. The first thing is really just surviving UCLA because sometimes it'd be hard, it'd be a little hard. So yeah, I would say like kind of incorporating that with like policy action that I want to see in the world.
Yeah, that's great. We love to see it. We love to see it.
Yeah.
So I'll end it off with a speed round, and then you can have a chance to tell us your socials. But to start us off with the speed round, what's your favorite photo, and why do you like it so much?
Of myself, like that I've taken, or
I mean, it can be both. Like, shoot, why not?
Shit, I don't have a favorite photo. I really can't have a favorite photo. I love, cause like for me personally, like things I like pictures, people I take pictures of, it's like I'm attached with that photo. So it's like I love everything that I've shot so far. But it's not like some hateful thing, but like
Yeah.
you know, I don't really have a favorite photo. Fuck.
Top 3 at least, or no?
Top 3. Okay, I can't tell you like the photos, but I can definitely tell you like people who are like top 3 like inspirations probably like that I've like photographers that I've seen that are definitely like Gordon Parks, Rolex. She's a very popular photographer. Y'all should look her up. Rolex, Gordon Parks, and then Volandes. He's coming out of Michigan. Those are definitely like some of my 3 favorite photographers. Just because of the range. Gordon Parks shot a lot of activism and like Blackness. Rolex shoots a lot of like hip hop as well as like she shot Summer Walker's album cover, but she does a lot more than that. And Volandes, he's out of Detroit, Michigan, and shoots life around there. Yeah, so he shot like rap, guns, just like the photography he does is like something I really love a lot. So I would definitely say the photography out of those 3 are some of my favorites. Yeah. I don't have a personal favorite photo though. So
Is there anyone you would love to?
is there anyone I would love to photograph?
Yeah.
I would. Damn. There's a lot of people. I would definitely say, who's somebody I would really fuck with? It's hard. It's real hard. I'm thinking about it way too hard. I just need to pick somebody. I need to pick somebody, but like, All right, let me come back to that question.
Okay, okay.
This is a terrible speed round. I'm taking my sweet time. Off what?
Great. Okay, then maybe this next question won't be as easy either. Do you have like a dream shoot, like concepts behind everything? Like if any type of shoot could go perfectly, how would that look?
A dream shoot, I would definitely say that I wouldn't say like how it would go, but I would say like how it would impact. So like a shoot that inspires people across the nation to like understand the message.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm not sure what that message would be, but like
It's
I want to say like just viral, but it's something that like impacts. You know what I'm saying? I don't want it to just be like a viral like reposting or some shit. I want people to be like, whoa, like I'm kind of different now that I've seen this whole project.
Yeah.
So that's how I want it to be.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite camera?
Shit, the one I'll be shooting with, a Canon 6D.
Okay.
That's what I've done a lot of my work on for the last year and a half, 2 years. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any other creative outlets besides photography?
I be journaling. Like a motherfucker. Excuse my language. I'm sorry. I don't know how like this show is, but for sure, journaling. And cooking. I love cooking. Yeah, I'll say that's creative outlet. So journaling and cooking.
Okay. Chef Sydney. What's your favorite thing to cook?
Steak. I really like steak. I be cooking it a little too much. It's slowed down. But I make fire steak on the grill or like reverse pan seared or like just any way. So I do it.
Okay. Do you have, what's your biggest pet peeve?
Oh, biggest pet peeve would definitely be like people not looking at the bigger picture, I would say. And that's not really their fault. And that's not, I can't really blame that for them. But I be getting mad when when people are kind of like, they don't see other people's perspectives or like they don't see the bigger picture. And like, it would save a lot of time if they did. But, you know, you got to talk to some people. So,
Yeah. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is. Your favorite song at the moment?
Oh, there's been some heat dropping, y'all. Like y'all gotta tap in. We got all types of artists dropping stuff. I'm gonna say it's my library. It's probably just okay. I like Posted with Demons.
The whole album was fire.
He's bad. He went crazy. He did not miss. But you know, drop some heat. I would definitely say like 100 Extras was one of my favorites off of that. And Do Better off of Gunna. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a lot.
Yeah, just straight.
I'll definitely say one of those songs.
Okay. Yeah, I can agree with the feature and Gunna though, like to me a lot of his songs sound the same, kind of gets old after a minute, but I respect it.
That's fact. I be trying to find the ones that are different. So.
Yeah. Then last one, would you rather be able to look back in your life in 100 pictures or like 5 short snippets of videos?
100 pictures. Easy. 100 pictures. Cause I got range. Like, I mean, it's like remembering like all the photos that you showed me. I remember all the stories off of that just by remembering the photos.
Mm-hmm.
So I could play the video in my head.
That's true. Okay. And then lastly, I always let my guests put us on. So it can be, a TV show, restaurant, whatever you're on right now or have been on, you can let the people know.
Okay. I'll definitely say it might be a little. With Snowfall. Also, Avatar: The Last Airbender. I just completely like unlock all the memories in my head because I used to go to grandma's and watch it over there. I have cable in my house, but grandma did, so I watch like little bits here and there. I didn't really know the story, but now I do. And then just tapping into this new music, man. There's a lot of music now. And then fuck with Command. We got a week coming up. We got Command week coming up sooner or later. And yeah, that's what I've been working on that for y'all. So
Okay, we'll definitely be on the lookout for that. Yeah, just let us know your socials if we want to hit you up for a shoot, your website, all that good stuff.
Feel me? On my socials, besides Snapchat, I already use Snapchat, so you don't really need that. YVNGCATT, Young Cat, Twitter and Instagram. My website is in the bio of both. It's a little longer. It's youngphotography.com. You feel me? I got the .com because I'm big time like that. But that's really it. What else I got? Yeah. Feel me? Hit me up for a shoot. If you got any concepts or ideas, I'm a dog. I can go execute it for you. You know what I'm saying? Or if you don't have a concept or idea, just hit me up and we can work with something. So tap in.
Yeah.
Oh, Command as well. My bad. MMND. Yeah.
CMD. All right. Well, appreciate you for joining this episode. Like you said, everyone's him. He gonna get you right for sure. All the pics looking right.
Looking right.
But yeah, appreciate you.
Appreciate you for having me.